Welcome back, guys, to another episode of MM Talks. I hope you're doing absolutely amazing. I hope you're loving life. I hope you're shining. Yes, sir. I'm here with the man, Fabian, and the other man,
Mr. Future Caines.
Future Caines in the building. It's a two-for. We've had almost a back-to-back with Mr. Future Caines himself. So we're very, very fortunate to have that. First things first, though, guys. I would love to ask how your weeks have been. How's your week been, bro?
My week has been great. It's been challenging because I had a little back injury. So, yeah, we was out for a little bit. But we good, bro. We good. We back. We here. You know what we do, man. We grow every week. That's what we do. We grow every week and we get through the week and we just live life.
That's true. And that also shows that we are also open to not even listening to our own advice. Because we have said in this podcast, literally not long ago, that we need to take ourselves slowly to get back into lockdown. And I know for a fact, I haven't been taking enough time with myself in the gym.
Yeah.
And I know both people on either side of me have also not been taking enough time out of the gym. Gym's doors open and just ran back into it like crazy people. And that's okay.
I don't be me.
We learned from it, that's for sure. Ethan, my brother, how has your week been?
My week has been a very up and down week. It's been, I started off without focus. I had a few rough nights, but I got back into my sleep schedule, got to the gym. I'm feeling good today. It's Friday. The sun has been out every single day. Blue skies just changed the mood. I'm doing well. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the invite back. Oh, what about you, sir? What about you, King?
You know what? I'm so blessed because I'm sitting in the middle, and so I'm just getting good energy from both sides, which is fantastic. There's just a lot of joy and a lot of good energy around me. So that's a great way to start today. My week's been fantastic. Thank you for asking. I've been busy. I've been focused. I've also, a bit like you, there was a dip in the middle of the week where there was some lower energy, where there was a lack of sleep, but definitely righted the ship now, definitely fixed that and gone straight. So I'm very happy with how I'm feeling. I'm very focused, had some very good news over the past few days as well, some productive meetings. Overall, feeling fantastic.
Real productive.
Feeling absolutely fantastic. So I have been reading a book called Atomic Habits. It's one of my favourites. Ethan, I know it's one of yours.
Sorry, guys.
Bless you, brother. Fabian, have you read Atomic Habits?
This is the book you got me, right?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so this is exciting because this is a little preview for Fabian of what Atomic Habits might bring. It also is great to hear Ethan's verdict on it as well because he has read it through and is a big fan of the writing and the writing style. So we're going to get into that a little bit as well. But the main point of conversation today, and the main thing we're really going to sweat the detail on, is a quote that I read in actually one of the opening chapters, which is, I want to hear actually both of your opinions, and then also the depth that we can take into it, right?
Yeah.
The quote is, goals are good for setting up a direction, but systems are best for making progress. And I, first of all, love that quote. I really, really like it. First of all, I'd like to break it down and dissect. What do we think that quote means? I'm going to start with Mr. Ethan.
Okay, so goals are
good for setting a direction, but systems are best for making progress.
So making progress is all about the process.
He went progress to process. Sorry,
Finding a process and a system which works for you helps enable you to achieve your goals. Goals are fantastic. Goals are level 1. In order to rank up, in order to get to level 10, you want to develop systems. All of the best processes of systems. We talked about Dave Brailsford. We talk about Mercedes and Red Bull, some of the best car drivers in the world, best car manufacturers in the world. Shout out to Lewis Hamilton. They have the best processes in the world and they pay people to make their processes more efficient every single day. Their success is driven from their process. If you fall in love with the progress, loop it back, you'll find that progress.
Oh, okay. I like that a lot. Thank you for that breakdown. Fabian, what does this statement mean to you? And I'm throwing this on Fabian because he's not read Atomic Habits before, so this is just a right out the box just to get your opinion on what this means.
So, for me, I just think in simple terms, it's like climbing a ladder. Like, in life, where are you on that ladder? Like you said, the goals, is basically setting the direction. When you have an understanding your goal is to climb the ladder. It's to get to the top of the ladder. The systems, obviously, is progress. Each step up the ladder is the progress to get to the top.
Yep.
It's the whole point of like, you build a business to be the manager. You start off at the bottom. Like, or when you're in a company, you start off at the bottom of the business. You want to climb the ladder to get to the CEO, to get to the business owner, to get to the manager, whatever it is you're trying to get to. And for me, it's that whole thing of being at the bottom of the ladder, is setting it out there, looking at the top and seeing your goal is to get to the top. But the system is getting the process to get to the top. How many steps does it take me to get to the ladder? How many arms do I need to go up to make it to the top? And for me, that is the actual meaning of the actual quote.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I like the way you guys have broke it down. So we understand now what this statement means, right?
Yeah.
But before we get into the details of it, I've got a question for you guys. First question of the day. And
question time.
This hopefully helps the viewers, the listeners get to know us a little bit better. Hopefully brings a little bit of different energy in.
I'm ready to listen up.
Let's get it. Let's get into it. So the first question of the day is, what is your favourite book, ebook, or I'll give you an out podcast of all time? So what content do you like consuming the most that isn't visual, that is your favourite version of that of all time? Now, I'm going to go first so I can give you guys some time to consider.
Yeah, you really sprung that one on us.
Yeah, I did. And I know that you guys both take in audiobooks, or you read. So I understand that there's definitely a lot to choose from. So I'm gonna go first. So I'll give you some time to choose, and also it means that I don't take. You guys know what one I've gone, so you don't think that I've taken your one later on.
Yeah.
So the book that I'm going to go for is The Alchemist. I absolutely love that book. It's a very, very short book, first of all, and I am not a prolific reader. I struggled with my ability to read for a very, very long time in my life. So the fact that I get a short book is very, very helpful for me, because it means that my brain doesn't work too hard and I can get through it and feel progress, you know. And there is something in goals and in momentum in those small wins. And reading a short book is a big win with small effort. So The Alchemist is a fantastic, fantastic book about the journey. It's about the process of finding yourself and finding your unlimited potential. I know that Will Smith quotes it often, and he says it's one of his favourite books of all time, and I'm with him. Williard, me and you were on the same mindset. It definitely captures my imagination. It captures the young person in me that still dreams of the stars, and I have that person every single day in me. But when I read that, it captures that and brings it to the forefront. Anybody who potentially is a little bit apprehensive about reading and isn't sure where to start, I would recommend it. It's an easy read, it's short, and also it brings out pure joy and imagination and dreams, and that's all I'm going to give it. So, has anybody got their book?
I've got mine, but I'll let Ethan go.
Okay. So this was a very difficult one. I came up with Never Split a Difference. But to be topical, of the times, a book that I have revisited, reread, especially when I was younger, and it felt like it gave me a sense of direction and understanding and empathy, was Noughts and Crosses by Mallory Blackman.
Yep.
If you don't know anything about this, it's a world which is flipped on its head. Noughts are essentially white people, and crosses are black people, and noughts is a derogatory term to say whether you might use the N-word. I'm not going to say that on the podcast. And as a mixed race person with white and black parents, it really, I was able to empathise with the book. I was able to understand what it was to be the child of mixed race parents, but also to understand both experiences, live in both hemispheres. It really centered my experience and empowered and encouraged me to live that in the way that I could, but also to see both sides and appreciate both sides for what they are, and the combined struggle of humanity and how we should support and love each other regardless of race, gender, creed, etc. Fabian.
So, when it comes to books, I've always loved a good autobiography. I've read one of Jay-Z's, I've read Kevin Hart's, and they've both been amazing, and a few others. Like, they're so, I think they're so vast right now, and I only really recently got into the book game and seen what's out there, And one of the ones I read recently, because you know me, I'm about growth. Especially financial growth. And I read a book called The Financial Diet. And it just, for me, it's like what you get out of a book is like you said, it brings you awareness, it brings you understanding of what happened like in the past and what's going on now. And I read The Financial Diet, and it was just showing small little steps it can take to set yourself up better. And for me, it was the whole point of having one account where you get paid into, and having another account where all your outgoings come out of, or having an account where you do your day-to-day spending on, and an account where you get paid into. Not having it as the same account, because what I realised back before in my old job, everything came out of the one account.
Yeah.
I just keep spending until it just doesn't work anymore, till it declines. Where now, my card can decline whenever it wants, because I know that's not where my money is. It declines because I've used my allocation of money that I've put in there, and now I need to get a second allocation. So I'm going, okay, you just spent £200 this week, or you spent £50 today. You know what you've put in there. Now you need to manage your money slightly better. And for me, the Financial Diet really helped with that, showing where to put your money, how to manage it, and setting up the first stepping stones to actually manage your money. And you know me, I'm very about money driven and keeping as much as you get. Yeah. So for me, Financial Diet is definitely up there, but I would definitely have to put 48 Laws of Power.
Robert Greene.
Yeah. Very good book. Very, very good book. And I don't even know what to tell you about the book. All I can say is it's just mind blowing, and it's just very, for me, it's very welcoming. I think it kind of helped me open my mind to say you can do more. And I like that book for that.
Awesome. Thank you. That's a great insight into the minds that we go for, the things that we go for, and it's a good insight into who we are as individuals. So I like that. I hope you guys have now picked up some new books for your reading list. I hope this helps you expand your reading, your library. And what I would like to point out is something that Fabian just mentioned. So Fabian mentioned a goal potentially to not just be spending money endlessly, and actively supplied us with a system and a process to put in place to help that along. It was utilizing a separate account where you get paid, but then you put the money that you get paid into a different place. So you're then not just spending that money straight away, and you have that, like you say, that allocation to spend. Yeah. That is a system that you put in place to potentially manipulate your spending habits. Yep. So thank you for bringing us onto that. And now the next question I'm going to ask both of you is, what processes do you currently have in place to help yourselves get from point A to point B, which is your goal? What systems have you currently created or orchestrated through your life that have helped you reach your goals? Or if you don't have that, do you have an example where you wish you would have had a process in place to hit a goal that you potentially didn't hit?
Okay, I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to volunteer myself and put myself forward. I think the first thing, in order to form an effective process, is to understand yourself in the way in which you operate best.
Yeah.
I talk about that because I operate best ridiculously early in the morning. You'll catch me at 5 a.m, 6 a.m, awake and reasonably alert with a big glass of water, and I'm working. Between 6 a.m. and 12 a.m, I work most effectively. If you catch me in the afternoon, we might have a phone call that was productive, but that's as far as it goes.
I just want to jump in there and say, literally, this man wakes me up, not on purpose, but I'll hear a door go, and I'll be like, this is 5 o'clock in the morning, I expect another 3 hours of sleep from me. I get up at 8 or 9, right, walk out into the living room. This man is sitting at the desk. I'm like, how's your morning been? He said, I've done this. List off about 10 things. Before I have had breakfast, this man has completed a day's worth of productivity, so I can completely attest to that. Sorry, please continue.
Atomic Habits.
Yes.
The inspiration for this episode.
Yeah.
Talks about creating habits that are easy and appealing. So the night before, it all starts with the night before. Everything I do in the morning, all of my success in the morning and efforts in the morning starts with the night before. Before I go to bed, I pour myself a big glass of water. I lay out all of my clothes for the morning, and I go to bed at a reasonable time. Whatever your time is reasonable, you could go to bed anywhere as early as 7 p.m. or as late as 2 a.m. As long as it's effective for you, that is okay.
Yes, it.
I need to go to bed early. 9:30, 10, I'm in bed, I'm ready. I might do some reading, I'm winding myself down, I'm off my phone. I wake up in the morning and I drink my glass of water. Through the night you get dehydrated and I need that extra kick. I need that cool glass, I need that effort. Your mum actually gave me one of my favourite habits in the morning.
Shout out to Mumsy!
If you're feeling groggy in the morning, you feel like I can't get up, try this method. Say count down from 5 to 1 and then go. Just get up, put your clothes on, get out of bed, go to the toilet, whatever you need to do in the morning, go and do your job. Just try it. 1 time, 2 times. No, give me 5 times at least. And if it doesn't work, try something new.
Yeah.
After that, I go and exercise. I release those endorphins. I turn the tap on, like I said, a couple of episodes.
Yes, sir.
And I get myself feeling good. I get to see you in the morning, so I feel really good. I exercise, eat food. That's my dopamine kick.
Yep.
I shower. I have a little sing-song. And I come out and read. I bring that calm to my morning. I bring that structure. In my head, I start to plan out my day and get to it.
Yeah.
That's my process. That's my favourite process right now. And it sets me up for a beautiful day.
And what I would like to do now is say how beneficial that process has been to me, because I haven't had that procedure in my life for a while. Like when I was younger, I would wake up before school or before college, and I'd get up at 5 o'clock and I would go and train in the park for about an hour, and I felt wonderful, right? And I appreciated that back in the day, but I completely lost that and forgot that. When I started to get to work and started doing things, I was like, you know what? I used to work at a cafe about 10 minutes from my house. So I would sometimes wake up maybe 20 minutes, half an hour before I had to start my shift.
Yeah.
And so I'd just go in there at that time. And I got into a bad habit of not preparing and orchestrating my day, setting up the tools to make my day successful. And I can completely attest to and support that concept of having a structure and creating a process where you get successful from the second you start your day, because you've been a massively good influence on me in that way. So thank you.
Thank you, bro. That's very, very kind of you.
No worries. Hey, sorry.
I would love to hear from you or Fabian. I'm happy for either of you.
I was
Guys
gonna
got
throw
gems on gems on gems.
Fabian, talk to us about a system or a structure or a process that you have in place, or that brings you success and brings you joy.
So I'm gonna talk about when I didn't have it in actual a system in place to where now I have it in place.
Nice.
So before, in my old job, I was running flat ahead. Like you've seen on all episodes when I talk about, I was just going. And really and truly, with my mindset now and the things I have in place now, if I did this then, it's like I said, I'd probably be north of, my net worth would be north of $1 million.
Okay.
Just because of the things I had, with the capital I had around me, and with the team and the things and the people I had around me, I could have made it happen.
Yeah.
Very easily. And when now, it's like I started again, and we're working our way up. I built a system now to say, no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay for the next 3 to 4 months.
That's it.
And it's that whole system of, like I said, what I just talked about before, is not having all my money in one place. But in multiple places, but safe, where they make me money anyway. So it's like, for instance, I was telling my mentoree today is that I have over £500 in 4 different accounts. He said, it's not a case of I use every account to actually spend, but from going to where I was only getting £250 a month to live on, to where now I've got 3 savers accounts, 1 rainy day fund, and I'm still managing to live normally, comfortably. And I said, I've just put these systems in place for over the last 8 months. And in my head I'm thinking, if I had this kind of system in the last 2 years of my last job, where I would be now would be untouchable. So for me, it was a whole putting that system and being smart with my money. And that started with me going to learn how to trade Forex. Now, I never picked up Forex because it wasn't for me. Because I thought, okay, this is something you need to sit down, you need to learn. I don't have the money to invest into it right now. It's just not the right time. Now, people do it. People make loads of money for it. Some people think they can do it very quickly. And again, it's the whole thing we talk about is patience. You need to take time to perfect something to be able to do it great. And what I took from when I went to actually learn it and the people that spoke about it, I took from it saying, I actually do need to change something. They're trying to get you to change your life with Forex. And for me, I said, no, I actually need to change my life. So for me, it turned around and said, okay, you're saying that I'm working a job and that stands for JOB, just over broke. But why, if I'm just over broke, I'm going to invest into something that I'm not actually good at, but it might take me 2 to 3 years to get good at? Why don't I just save that money that I would have invested in to do that, and then start something in 2 to 3 years with that money that could potentially build to something even bigger? So that's what I took from it, and that's what eventually I did. That's what we're doing now, building some stuff, and now I've got a bit more capital behind me to be able to push into things. And now, like I said to you, I'm waiting for these next 3 months to see what happens, and it's just great to actually see, to be able to say, at the end of the year, where's all your money gone? And just to end on the whole part of the system, building to a goal, I said something simple like this. If you're on a 30k salary a year, 10% of a 30k salary is £3,000. £3,000 works out to something like £200 a month. And that works out to just maybe over £50 a week. In any person on that salary can't tell me they can't save £50 a week. Because that £50 a week could be food, it could be going out to the pub. For some people, it could be 3 to 4 packs of cigarettes. It's those little adjustments people don't understand that be a big difference. Now that £3 grand at the end of the year could be a holiday, it could be a savings, it could be a present to someone, you could buy something you want, but it's that whole point of saying, what do I have to show for my money at the end of the year except for I just completed a financial year? So that's the whole point of putting a system in place, and I really think financial gains and trying to keep as much of the money you get is very big, especially after the time we've had with the whole COVID, people losing jobs, starting new jobs, family losing jobs. It's a big difference. Now I think a lot of people are starting to realise the power of compounding their money and holding their money back and not actually spending it. And like I said before in our last podcast, I hope people continue to do that and see where it actually goes. So yeah, setting the system up for my money and being in control of my money and actually knowing what's going out, knowing when things are coming and not being caught by surprise.
Okay, wow, thank you for that. And I like the conversation in having that, reorienting your priorities. You know, so if you do go out and spend £200 on a night out with the homies, with your friends, if you do have a goal that requires a financial investment, potentially does that money that potentially isn't directly pivotal to you supporting yourself and supporting other people, that money there that you're using on a leisure activity, if you say you really have a goal that involves a financial investment, why is the money then going to something that potentially isn't pivotal to the support of you and the loved one and the people around you? So I really appreciate that as well. So thank you. Something that I want to talk about is about my body. So as you guys know, tore my ACL, had all of the surgery, did all of that wonderful stuff. Me and Fabian had the same doctor. Serendipity at its finest. Now, I'm embarrassed to say this, but I never treated my body correctly beforehand. Before that injury, I didn't treat my body correctly. I took it for granted, and that's outrageous. Yeah. I hate the fact that I have to say that, because I should have treated myself correctly beforehand, right? Yeah. It took having to lose something, having to miss something to realise its value, and I won't ever do that again. So now, I went from not having a system, from turning up to training, from giving 100% at training and pushing my body to the point where my body broke because I wasn't challenging it in those ways outside of practice, and I wasn't working my knee in particular, in specifics, the way that it needed to work when it came to game day, when it came to giving 100% in practice. So when I was running up against Phil on a fade, and Phil is a fast guy and I'm not the fastest, and I'm giving 100, my knee gave way, right? Yeah. So now I've set myself a system which I'm not always 100% true to. Sometimes I do fall back, where at least one day a week I focus on working my body's lateral capabilities, so that a challenge like a ligament or a joint stress doesn't hit it as hard because it's prepared for it. And what I've noticed, especially recently, in upping the amount of lateral and mobility work I do against my joints, I move smoother than I've done before. I move at a lower height and at a faster speed than I used to. So I'm noticing an active improvement through this process and through this change. So my goal is to trust my body again. Yeah. My goal is to be able to perform at the highest level I possibly can without being scared of injury. But I didn't have the process beforehand for that. Now I feel I have the process in which I'm challenging my body in these ways. I'm pushing my body in a safer environment, where I don't need to give 100% and stress those things. And stress that part of my body that I usually would stress. And so that process has helped me find faith in my body again, but also made me a better player as just a nice side part to it. So absolutely loving it. And now on to our second question. And you know, we do not do one of our 3 questions of the day without having Fabian's 5 minutes of food.
Let's go, food
Yes.
for next. Are you with me? Food flex, are you with me? Come on now. Where's my fat boys? Let's go.
Fat boys and girls and non-binary as well. We don't discriminate.
I don't care. Any of my people, them people that get the meat sweats, I'm with you.
But also non-meat sweats count the vegans and the vegetarians too. We appreciate food at all times.
My broccoli sweats, I'm with you.
So, for today's question, also just so you guys know, there will be a point where Fabian creates his own food channel. Please keep an eye out for that because it will be coming soon, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Did someone say jerking a turkey on Christmas? No, I did not.
Turkey for Christmas?
Yeah,
So that we're gonna have a question on what's our favourite Christmas meal when it comes to Christmas, but that is 8 months away. We're gonna consider right now in Fabian's 5 minutes of food. I'm gonna give you guys some time to think about this one as well.
I already got it, don't worry.
Okay.
I didn't know the question, but I got it.
Yeah. If you could eat one cuisine for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I thought we had a question like this before.
Do we have this question already?
I don't know, but we can go with this.
We'll go with this one, and then we'll ask another one.
Yeah.
And if we have had this question before, we'll replace it with that one.
Cool.
So yeah, what if you could eat one cuisine for the rest of your life, guys? What would it be?
Caines, you ready?
I am not ready, so I'm going to defer to you, my capable friend.
Okay.
If you're not ready, I'm ready.
You can go. I'm ready. It's a food question. I'm always ready.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go first because I want to hear Fabian go last.
Alright, cool.
I wanna hear the food master, the food champion, the food fanatic to give us that expertise.
Yeah.
So for me, I thought about this long and hard, right? And it used to be, and I don't want to cause any harm, I don't want to cause any uproar, right? But it used to be Caribbean and particularly Jamaican cuisine, right?
Yeah.
My favourite meal of all time, as we know, curry goat, rice and peas, fried.
Yo.
You know that's 100% my favourite.
Healthy.
Jerk chicken is up there as well. You know, I love all of that. But
heartly food.
I am playing the vegan game right now as a part of the process to fix my knee, right? It reduces swelling, it reduces all the things there. Helps me sleep better as well. I'm not telling you guys to be vegan, I'm just saying why.
Excuses.
But I have found that in the process of trying to have a vegan diet, the best cuisine for me is that of the Mexican cuisine.
Okay.
I feel like I've just taken Ethan's answer.
We can have the same answer. You can answer it differently.
This is true, because I'm not going to talk about meat, I'm not going to talk about anything that involves...
He's talking vegan.
Exactly.
You're talking chickpeas and broccoli.
That's exactly it though. You need to understand, black beans are just out of this world. Black beans, rice, and a tortilla wrap, and guacamole, I could have that every day for the rest of my life and be completely satisfied. Oaxaca do a great vegan selection, and that is something that has got me through some tough times. They have all of the things you need as well. Everything you can get, solid carbs, solid protein, get all your vitamins and minerals.
I hear you.
And also, I'm a very big fan of spicy food. Very big fan of spicy food. Mexican provides that. So does Caribbean and so does Jamaican, like I've said before. But Mexican food provides that for me. So I'm going to go with Mexican food.
Okay.
Mr. Caines, go
So,
ahead.
do I duplicate the answer? Do I come up with my own thing? You know, I'm gonna say shout out to Mexico.
Yep.
It would have been my choice. Many reasons, many flavors. As Jed's pointed out so well. I'm going to take it in a different direction.
Yep.
And I am going to give a shout out to India and Indian food and Indian cuisine.
He's close.
Can you really call yourself British if you don't appreciate a curry?
That's true.
I understand. Understandable.
And I'm talking about real Indian food, and by that I don't mean the tikka masala, the British adoption.
Yeah.
No, nothing against it, but authentic food. dal, dosa, flavors, fritters.
He's talking big foods.
Gulab jamun. If you know. The rose water, incredible. India is a melting pot of culture, quite literally and physically. The different regions provide different flavors. They're slightly drier, fishier. Taste the lamb boona. There's so many flavors coming out of that one country. You can tell that there really are 1 billion people living there. India has a plethora of dishes, all the way from the mild to the ridiculously spicy food en masse. But they also have the ability to refine that down, refine all of that flavor into one morsel of food, and I'm here for all of it. Shout out to India, shout out to Indian street food. You're killing the game.
Yeah, that's a fantastic answer, and thank you for the depth that you went into it. There was a title of one of the foods that you said. I can't repeat it. I don't know what it. I can't even remember.
The gulab jamun.
Yeah. Oh!
The gulab jamun. It's a dessert. It's a small little fried ball.
Yeah.
And it's slightly crisp on the outside.
Yeah.
But it's softer than the softest pillow on the inside. Soaked in rose water, slightly sweetened rose water, almost like a syrup. And it absorbs all of it. And the flavors that go into your mouth, you need creme fraiche to just cut through the sweetness.
Okay.
If you haven't had it, go get it. Shout out to Ganapati and Peckham. They do an amazing gulab jamun.
Thank you so much for that, and shout out to Gulab Jamun. Fabian, finally, the food fanatic, about to give us
Right,
a breakdown.
obviously, you know, every food question, I always gotta see the technicalities. Sorry, yeah. So now I want to say Asian food, but my thing is saying Asian. Does that class has the Japanese, the Chinese? It is everything, right?
You gotta be specific to a region. You can't take all of them.
Because he can just say India, and India
gotta be
says Asia.
specific,
Exactly.
This is what I'm saying, because really they're very similar as I see it, right?
India's not similar to
we're about to go to
Chinese.
war,
Not Indian. I'm talking like, okay, yeah, alright.
Yeah, you gotta go for a specific one.
See, this is what I was saying, because I want to go that way, because I have two.
Yeah.
Now, yes, it's not Caribbean, but that's why I eat that every day anyway. So everyone knows I can say Caribbean. That's just an easy win.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm thinking like, I like variety. So like, you know, if I go to like the Chinese side now, you know, the menu goes on for days.
Yeah.
Then like you got all these different kinds of rice.
Yep.
Then you got the hot and spicy wings. Then you got like just the normal salt and pepper wings. Yep. Then you got the crispy shredded beef. I'm just going off a menu, but that's on one side. We're forgetting all the soups. Yeah. We're forgetting the duck. We're forgetting the rice. Like, there's a lot of things like we forgetting about, right? And that's why I kind of want to go there, because it's different when you're here. Like you go to a Chinese shop and you see it, but when you go out there and actually see what the people eat, seeing the authentic soup. Or like we forgetting things like a stir fry, we're forgetting the wok to walks, all these kind of things. It's still that kind of way. And for me, there's a lot of food there you can go, and there's a lot of variety. But if I'm going on my favorite dish and I'm going for my favorite cuisine, shout out to my Lebanese people. Because you kill it every day. Every day. That charcoal grill is not barbecue. Like, they're the one place I would say it's not barbecue, it's charcoal. It's charcoal grill. Because it's different. It don't come off the barbecue. It's like it's been sitting with like an old man at his nice little charcoal grill, and you can just taste it where it's, it's different. It hits different. The rice, the different kind of meats, the salad, the bread, the jajik. Listen, very nice. I'm going with Lebanese.
Okay, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, now moving on into the final segment,
Phase.
the final phase of today's main topic, right? I'm hungry. First of all, I am salivating. I'm ready for food, and we're definitely gonna have food the second we turn this thing off.
And before we finish this, I'm gonna give you lot a question about food, and I want to see your answers at the bottom. I want to tally up and see what it is. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Okay, so we've spoken about processes that we put into place that we think is incredible, that we think is really, really good, right? But now I would love you to give, if you've seen one, an example of processes out there in the world, of systems out there in the world that create success, that hit a goal. or potentially a process that you've seen that does not hit a goal. So finally, guys, the final question after talking about all that food, and you know I am hungry as I cannot wait for our meal afterwards, right? But onto the final question, and hopefully you've had enough time to think about this, is we've spoken about the systems that we have in place or that we have put into place to be successful in our own life, to aim towards the goals that we have in life, right? But I would love to know if you guys have seen examples of systems in place anywhere in the world that you admire and you think that's a really good system that works, or potentially an example of a system that doesn't work, or a place where they had a goal but they didn't have a system and it completely messed up where they were going.
Yeah.
The floor is open.
I know Ethan's ready, so go ahead.
Okay, I got this. Okay, so this one, and I want to preface it. Not all systems are for everyone. It's important that you find your own system, and the person who I'm about to speak about found a system that I would never use, but they use it every single day to great success. And this person is Thomas Edward Brady.
Ooh, we talking about Tom Brady? We talking about 12?
7-time Super Bowl champion, multiple MVPs, 43 years old, 41 years old for football, old for this sport, where you get hit constantly. He has found repeated success by determining how his body best reacts to the world. The way in which he trains is incredibly unique. He has his own training, he doesn't lift weights like a lot of these guys. He has found the ways in which his body responds best to training. He has found the ways in which his body responds best to diet, to sleep. He has curated and paid such attention to detail that he is playing a sport that is arguably a 20-year-old sport. Most players' careers, on average, are maybe 3 years. A good career is 7 years. This man has played 20 years. People's sons have joined the league and left in the time that he's existed.
Crazy.
That's my favourite process. That's the process that works specifically for him. Find your process, find what works for you, curate that, love that process, and find your rings, find your success.
You know, I like that a lot because that, I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but considering the TB12 method, I think he even, during the season, doesn't eat anything. Every single form of nourishment he has through in liquid form.
Yeah, and that's disgusting.
I couldn't do that. And the fact that this man has potentially done this for 20 years, or has learned this and picked this up and added this to his process for 20 years to keep his body supple and agile and flexible so he can play and strong, is incredible. Now I am going to talk, it's interesting because Ethan has gone for the macro, someone who has created a process around every single aspect of their body and how it reacts to things to create a whole way of living over the space of 20 years. I'm going to talk about a very micro thing, and I'm going to talk about a layman. He was a head coach. He was brought in to be the head coach of Australia, the Australian cricket team, during a time when Australia had gone from being number one in the world, and people were like, oh, they're not as good as they used to be. They don't have Ricky Ponting. They don't have some of their incredible players who struck fear in the world. And in particular, they were known for, regardless of their batting or bowling, their fielding was incredible. You wouldn't get a ball past them. If it was in their range, you would not get a ball past them. And if there's a ball that hits their hands, they're catching it. That's it. If the ball goes up in the air, you're off, right? It was a certainty. And that fell away. It started to fall apart. And so the Australian cricket team brought in a new head coach. And the first goal he had was to fix Australian fielding. He was like, there is no way we do not go to the next World Cup, we do not go to the next Ashes and not be the best team at fielding in the world. I don't care about the batting and the bowling. Let's become the best fielders in the world again, right? Let's reclaim that space. And so he created a system. He literally created rules that were like, every single practice, every single day that they would practice, they would spend the first 2 hours on fielding. This is something that most teams only give half an hour to an hour or two a day, and sometimes don't even do it on a regular basis. He said 2 hours every day. Regardless of what you do after that, regardless of what you do in your positions, we field as a team and we field together for longer than anyone else. And over the next year, they put in more fielding practice than anyone else. And over the next year, they also had more catches than anyone else, more run-outs than anyone else, and less given up runs through fielding mistakes. And that was a direct result of the process he had created, the rules he had set to standardize their fielding practice and to standardize their development towards a goal. And now that is a process that is very, very basic. It's very, very simple. This is the goal. We are going to work at this exact skill to fix it endlessly. And like Ethan said, systems do not work the same for everyone. And sometimes we need to work out different ways to create this change in our minds, in our bodies, and in our mood. I would say, if you want to be happy, don't just smile every single day and expect your mood to change completely, right? That's a part of the process. Work out a process that works for you. But for me, that was very, very interesting. He just said, this is the problem. I'm attacking it 100%. This is the one thing we're going to do. And I found that extremely effective and also very interesting.
Okay. So, we're going on to me now, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm double checking. It's my turn, right? So, I need your help here, man, Jed.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to say a guy that I respect.
Yep.
Because he's probably one of the first in the league to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure how many others are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about Mr. LeBron James.
LeBron James! Yes, sir.
How many seasons has he done?
He came in 2003. So this man been in the league 17 to 18 years.
Right. So this man has been into the league 17 to 18 years. Played over 80 games a season. And this man spends over $3 million on his body every season.
At least.
He had his own chef, his own trainer, probably his own gym, and he has a suit that he sleeps in. And a hybrid fiber chamber, whatever that is, the cold chamber that they get in. And I respect this man for his process because it doesn't matter what it costs him each year, it works for him.
Yep.
Now, same thing as Ethan was saying about Tom Brady, he's been in the league for 20 years. It's the same thing we talk about the NBA. It's a lot of stress on the body,
Yep.
game after game after game, the jumping, the running around, the constant movement that this man goes through every season, and to continue to do it and still be at such a top level is insane.
Oh, it's incredible.
Absolutely insane. And I completely respect the process he goes through to get there, to do it every time. Like, I can't imagine being on that team and walking into the locker room and okay, wait, he's got a chef. His chef goes wherever he goes. Oh no, that's my trainer. I know you got team trainers, but this is my trainer. Like, for a man to be so certain of this is how I do things, I'm not changing it, you need to respect it and know I'm going to get us places either way. I'm going to still ball out no matter what I do.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to pay for it, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
And I completely respect the process he goes through each season and still balls out. Because it's literally the same after season after season after season. He's still the LeBron James.
LeBron James. And I completely agree with that. For a second, when you mentioned LeBron James, I thought you were going to talk about his system in which every Tuesday he eats tacos because it's Taco Tuesday!
Well, that's part of his system, there you go.
For real, anybody who follows LeBron James, I said LeBron. Anybody who, he is LA Bron now, he's in LA.
Stays in that lab working hard.
Oh,
Yeah,
for real.
let's go.
Anybody who follows LeBron James on his social media will understand this man every Tuesday he has Taco Tuesdays and he announces it to the world. But no, I completely agree with you. It is a very harnessed approach, and you saw athletes and just people in general in the 70s and 80s not treating their bodies like machines that it was, at the high performance machines that it was. So to see what's so interesting, two different sports mentioned and two completely different styles of athletes mentioned, yet both having a very unique approach to how
very different as well.
Yeah, 100%, completely different. And so taking a very detailed approach to how they do things, but also involving very different methods of how they get there. And I think that's very important. Like we said, LeBron James eats tacos. Yeah. Tom Brady during the season does not eat tacos. Exactly. He might eat a taco milkshake. Oh. That sounded wrong just coming out, to be fair. But he might eat a taco milkshake, but he's not gonna have a taco. Yeah. So thank you so much for both of your inputs. Thank you so much for breaking down what processes look like to you, how you implement them, and where you see them successful in other people. We would love to hear what you guys think. What is a process that you have? What is a goal that you have and a process that you're going to utilize to get you there? And second of all, what are processes that you see in the world that are really, really successful? But we're on to our final question, guys. Woo. We're on to the final question.
Final question.
And I think it's my favourite question that I've asked in the entirety of this podcast.
That's big.
Yeah, it's very big. We've asked many, many questions, but this might be my favourite. And I don't mind if you guys take some time to think about this. Okay. And listeners, viewers, I also really want you to take some time to think about this as well, okay? Really take this one in. What is the one thing that you do in your life that brings you the most joy? Now, this might be a very easy answer. I feel like Fabian has it already. I feel like something sprung to his mind straight away, right? And it might be that. But even if you do have something that is completely there, I want you to just feel it for a second. I want you to feel the joy that it brings. I want you to imagine it and see it and really exist in it. Fabian, you're edging to go, so please tell us, what is the one thing you do that brings you the most joy?
The most joy I get the most joy out of, literally, finding the discomfort. Oh my God, my words are all over the place. Sorry, people.
He's just so excited.
Yeah, like, for me, it's being against all odds. I'm supposed to lose. I'm not supposed to win. I'm not supposed to be successful in this job. I'm not supposed to have a big house. All of those things, it's that I'm not supposed to have it. The world, the society, the government, I don't care who it is, they just don't want me to have it. And my thing is, I get so thrilled and so energetic when I break down that barrier and say, yeah, but I got that one. Now I'm going to get the next one. Then the next one. Then the next one. You can't stop me because I'm on a road and I'm going to win. Yeah. And it's that road that I'm on, and I like ticking the boxes off. Saying, I've done that now. I've done that now. Because for me, there's nothing more joy in completing a mission that people thought was just not possible to do.
Yeah. There is something very powerful, isn't there? There's something very powerful in showing people your power and handling
100%.
Things regardless 100%. Of what's around you.
100%.
That's really powerful.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Ethan, my brother.
So what brings me the most joy in life? And I always think of this as, what would you do on your best day? And your best day, for me, I don't know if everyone celebrates it, but your best day should often be your birthday.
Ooh!
And what I love to do on my birthday, more than anything else, more than presents, more than just existing in that day, is to surround myself with the people that I love spending time with. You guys, my friends, my family. Being around people. My birthday is a good day because people have to come. Yeah. Like, they got no excuse. It's my birthday. You better show up that day. I better hear from you on this day. It's my goddamn birthday. Yeah. Sharing joy with those people, being able to sit back and say, look at these fantastic human beings that I surround myself with and that want to be a part of my life because of who I am, brings me great joy and validation. Yeah. So I have put in the work, I have spread and shared love in a way that people want to be around me. People want to spend that time with me. Let's catch a vibe. Let's talk. Like, how have you been? Understanding my friends, seeing people shine, seeing people share happiness and laughter is a wonderful thing. Yeah. What about you, King?
You know, I feel in such a good space because we're bringing things to us that we're so connected to and we feel so much. And I feel it and I love it. And I hope wherever you are, whatever you're doing right now, you're feeling that love as well, either through your ears and your eyes, or you're feeling it from what you're imagining that is the thing that brings you the most joy. For me, the thing that brings me the most joy, and the two things that you both said are up there, they're in my top 5 for sure. But the thing that brings me the most joy is creating. It is making something, right? And I'm so blessed because I'm doing it right now with you two. We are creating. And when we have, me and Fabian, we've had meetings where we're discussing, we're strategizing, we're planning. My mind goes racing. I feel like I'm Lewis Hamilton in that Formula 1 car, zooming at 100 miles an hour, 200 miles an hour, changing direction, building. And that's something that's really beautiful, right? It could be strategizing a business. It could be writing a poem. It could be talking on a podcast. Creating, for me, lets all of the muscles that I don't use in my body, my mind, and my soul really get going. It really brings out, I think, the fullest and the truest me. And I love sharing it. You know, knowing that something I'm going to do potentially will bring somebody else joy, potentially can bring somebody some growth or some love or some happiness. That's where I want to be always. So I am so grateful that I get to create with my favorite people. I'm so grateful that people are receiving this and that is a part of their lives too. So that is the thing that brings me the most joy, and I'm incredibly grateful for it.
Ooh, fantastic.
I love it.
Oh, I need to calm down.
What a way to start wrapping it up, bro.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful podcast. I would love to get some final words from both of you guys, starting with Fabian, because he definitely took a breath in there.
So yeah, like absolutely amazing podcast. Great motivation once again. Great like insight on things people can do to actually change their life once again and actually start building those poles on that ladder. Building those steps, that each foothold you're trying to get to where you want to get to in life, and actually build a surrounding, your foundations of actually the house you want to be in. On a side note, back to the food, what I'm going to say to you all is I want to know, what do you prefer? Chicken wings or ribs? Now it can be pork, astaghfirullah for my my Muslim supporters, or it can be the nice beef ribs you get. We get straight Jacob's Ladder down at the Bodines. Absolutely amazing. But yeah, anyways, let me know what kind of person you are. Are you a ribs person, like getting down and messy with it, or the wings, and you like to keep it nice and clean? Let me know, and I'm going to pass it all on to you guys.
Ethan, final words, my brother.
So I would like to touch on what you said. There is magic in creativity. It takes your mind to a different space. Often people feel quite bogged down. Take some time to be creative, even if you're just drawing something, even if you're just thinking and taking your mind to a different place. I wanted to touch on that because that was a really powerful point, because it does bring joy. It also activates your brain in a different way. You know I'm processor and you know I'm about the science. I gotta chuck that bit in. When you are creating a process, like I said, remember that you are unique in that. Understand yourself. Whether you are repeating something 100 times to perfect it, or whether you are making those small adjustments each time in order to make sure that you continue to evolve what you are doing. Make sure that you love your process. Make sure that you understand that your process defines your success. If you perfect the process, perfect creating a great process, success. There's no shame in stealing ideas from anyone. Roger Federer practices his serve 1,000 times a day, and that's why he's one of the greatest tennis players of all time.
Wow.
That's from me.
Thank you. Once again from both of you. And you know what's crazy? You went into a very methodical way of talking about creativity, but Fabian also, in talking about food right there, that is Fabian's form of expression of creativity. Yeah. And they're both as powerful and as wonderful as each other. And I'm feeling fantastic. So before I explode, before I order this food and we get eaten, I'm going to say, guys, thank you both of you for sharing this love. And hopefully you appreciate me sharing my love and this moment. Thank you so much for listening. Guys, have a fantastic weekend. Have a fantastic week whenever you're listening to this. Have a great one. And we will catch you on the next time. We are out. Peace.
Remember, wings or ribs? Let me know. Stay tuned for my answer.
Yes, sir.